In this video, we're going to talk about how to keep score and how to start tracking everything that you're doing because it's so important to pay attention to how you're doing it. But you can only make progression when you start tracking the numbers and when you start tracking the score. This is so important for this podcast episode because not only are we talking deep about understanding the numbers, understanding why the score matters, we're going to connect with different stories, different points, and really recognize that it's okay to develop something bigger. So this is your first time here. Welcome to another episode of Fair Use Knowledge Podcast. Here at Fair Use Knowledge Podcast, we turn failures into lessons that will help us progress as we are going along our journey. It's challenging, yet it's not difficult. I'm sorry. It's challenging and difficult at the same time, and it's so critical to know that you can get better, and as you're getting better, you have to learn how to keep track of the score that you are producing. So let me go ahead and hit live. Let me go ahead and go live on all these other platforms. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. And if you're listening to this, make sure you are engaged with the conversation because today we're talking about keeping score, not in a bad way, but in a way that's going to help you progress in yourself, progress in your life, and progress in everything that you're doing. And one thing that I've learned while playing sports and working out and being consistent over time is that you have to keep in mind of what you're doing and how you go about doing it. The reason why that's so important because if you're not tracking what you're doing, how can you improve? How can you get better? How can you develop the knowledge that you are struggling in to know that you can get better as you are learning more about what you're doing? This is the most challenging thing that you will ever face because to keep track of the numbers, to keep track of the score, to keep track of what you're doing, you have to be willing to pay attention to what you're doing and the results that you get from this. Ever since I started a 90-day challenge to make $100,000, I started this challenge because I knew I wanted to push myself, I wanted to challenge myself, and I wanted to see if I can actually learn more about the process that I would like to be on. I know I want to be an entrepreneur. I would like to help a billion people launch their podcast. But there's a particular way that I have to go about doing things to know that things are working, things are not working, and things can be improved. If I'm not tracking the score, if I'm not tracking my numbers, if I'm not tracking anything, I don't understand how everything is working because I'm not paying attention to nothing. This taught me that the 90-day challenge to make $100,000. It taught me that when you are pushing yourself, you have to keep pushing yourself to discover what's important, what and why things matter. Because until I recognize the importance of doing a challenge for 90 days, it taught me that I have to be consistent and I have to pay attention to the numbers. 90 days is a big number. I can't sit here and say it's not a short time. 90 days is a long time. In fact, it's a longer of a time. It's longer when if I wasn't paying attention to it, if I wasn't tracking it. And I remember, so right now I'm on day 63, and I remember me going back and looking at day 23, day 24, day 25, and I don't remember what I did, but the fact that I made the video around the lesson, it taught me that you are getting better over time. You just have to keep doing the small things that's going to make you get to the next step. The only thing that I'm worried about today is getting to the next step. From my experience, getting to the next step is so challenging because at first I had doubt. I had doubt that I wasn't going to hit my goal. And I'm still working towards hitting the goal, but now I'm just learning more about entrepreneurship. I'm learning how to pay attention to the numbers. I'm learning how to have excuse me, things in place so I can continue to do it, so I can continue to show up. And it's teaching me that if you don't what is it called? If you don't pay attention to your score, if you don't pay attention to what outcome you're putting out, how do you know what's coming back in for you? How do you know where it's coming from? Why do you know? How do you know that it matters? And I didn't fully understand why it mattered to this 90-day challenge because this 90-day challenge to make $100,000. It's teaching me the most important thing is that you have to pay attention to the numbers. And in order for you to improve the score, you have to do the small things every single day. Every single day, you have to be willing to work towards this dream, to work towards this goal, and to improve on things that you know that you can develop within. So far, I've only made $217. And when I made the $217, I was putting myself out there online. This was one way I got the money. This was one way I was able to make the money. I was putting myself out there on social media, talking about my challenge, talking about the 90-day challenge that I'm doing. And as I'm putting myself out there, people are starting to watch. People are starting to hear. People are starting to learn. People are starting to be in tune with what the challenge will bring. The main thing that I'm learning is that the challenge is bringing lessons. The challenge is bringing a way of doing things. Because if I'm trying to do everything by myself, I can't have a business because I can't do everything by myself. As over the half a decade that I've been in podcast creation or just creating in general, I've been doing everything by myself. I've been doing every skill, every edit, every post, every communication, everything that a small business owner does. I've been doing that. And what I did recognize is that since I'm doing that, I'm burning myself out. I'm not necessarily moving the needle as much as I would like to. And what I mean by the needle is that I'm not making as much progression that I would like to because I'm only one person. And so recently a couple months ago, I started working with my first assistant, first what is it? What we creator. I started working with my first team member, which is a creator. And when I started working with her, I made in my mind. I said I'm going to start working with her. I want to pay her consistently so I can learn the importance of building a team or working with others. I can't work with others if I'm not willing to invest into others, not just with money or time, but really way of doing things and building together. My biggest struggle is that I was trying to build by myself, not knowing that as I'm trying to build by myself, I can only go as far as my mind would let me, as my thought process would go, because it's not going that far because I'm only one person. It's not being stretched because I'm only one person. And at this time, when I recognize that one person can't make a difference, they have to get around others. I'm learning how to get around others and start working with others because this is how I'm going to get to the next step. This is how I'm going to make a difference. This is how I will be able to grow a business. Because I have to go from I to we. The most important thing that I got from this challenge is that you can't do everything by yourself. When you are doing everything by yourself, you have to pay attention to what you're doing. You have to keep score. You have to track everything. You have to document everything. You have to notice what's working, what's not working, and change what can be what can be improved. Because if I'm going along the journey, not tracking my score, the score will remain 0-0 because I didn't put points on the board. I didn't score a touchdown. I didn't score a basket. I didn't score anything. What I did do was that I was doing the work without tracking anything. When you are tracking your score, you're able to see what team is in the league. My favorite team is the Lakers, hence the jersey. And as they're playing basketball, they have a score team. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, they're going against the Houston Rockets. The Lakers will have 21 points, and the Rockets can have 17 points. When they're tracking their score, they're tracking their progress. They're tracking the amount of the points that's being put on the board. Who's putting the points on the board? Who just got this assist? Who just got this pass? Who just scored? As you are going along your journey by yourself, you have to find a way to score every single day. And as you're finding a way to score every single day, you have to track how you are scoring, how you are winning, how you are taking that step. Because as you continue to take the step, not only are you taking the step, you're finding ways to get better. You're finding ways to improve. You're finding ways to develop a skill within yourself. In order to build this skill, you have to be willing to track the score starting from zero. You have to recognize that in order for you to get to the next step, in order for you to get score the next point and accomplish the next goal and win something, you have to be willing to take that risk, to take that shot, to take that leap of faith. because you can only score when you pick up the ball, when you take the first step, when you leap. And as you're leaping for something, you're taking that risk. Risk is the most scariest thing because how do you know you are taking this risk for yourself? How do you know this risk will pay off? How do you know this challenge will pay off? How do you know this score will eventually work in your favor? Over the half a decade that I've been learning more about entrepreneurship, business, marketing, and building a team and leadership and learning the importance of communication. Not only did I start learning about it in 2024, I really started learning about it in 2024, and it taught me that the previous decade, half a decade, I was learning more about what I wanted to do. And as I'm learning what I wanted to do, there's been countless amount of time that I've changed what I wanted to do. And how I wanted to go about doing it, I've been evolving. If you're keeping score, you're evolving because you're paying attention to what you're doing. You're recognizing the work that you're doing and the importance behind it. As you're recognizing the importance behind it, not only do you see your growth, not only do you see the work, you're recognizing what work is being completed because you're able to keep the score. When you're keeping the score, you're winning. When you're keeping the score, you're tracking. When you're keeping the score, you're paying attention to everything that you're doing. This is so important because I'm learning while being on this entrepreneurship journey is that I have to continue to learn, continue to develop, and continue to improve. Because as I continue to improve, the score is going to keep increasing. The amount of time that I win is going to keep increasing. But first, I have to get used to losing. First, I have to get used to losing often because losing is just a way for you to learn more. Failure is not punishment. Failure is not bad. Failure is something that's going to get you to the next step. Because it's things that you are trying for the first time. And as you continue to try this skill or this lesson, you're not going to be great at it. In fact, you're not going to be good at it. In addition to that, you're going to be horrible when you first start out. Because you don't know what you're doing. When I started out, I had no idea what I was doing. Excuse me. But I didn't let me not knowing what I was doing stop me from learning how to do it. Stop me from recognizing the importance of growth. Excuse me. How long? I didn't let it stop me from growing and developing within myself because as I learned throughout the journey, you only get better the amount of times you fail at something. I'm getting better because I'm constantly failing at something. I'm constantly getting better at something and I'm constantly learning something. Because when you learn something new, you are developing a way to keep the score going up. You are developing a way to win. You are developing a way to grow. You are developing a way to develop yourself because you're able to lose. In life, they say when you get knocked down, you have to find a way to pick yourself back up because in order to pick yourself back up, you have to have the strength to know that you're getting better. You have to have the knowledge that you're improving. But see, to improve, you have to be willing to start with not knowing. It's not knowing that stops a lot of people because how do you get better if you don't know what you're doing? How do you improve if you're trying to improve on the things that you're doing and it's not even working, it's not coming together, the score is not even going up, the score remains the same. Because the way that it remains the same is based off what you are doing to get to the next step. It's not the fact that you don't know what you're doing. To add to that is you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how to fix it. When you don't know how to fix it. And the reason why score is so important, the reason why paying attention to the score is so critical is because you're going to do a lot of things in life. You're going to be great at a lot of things. And you're also going to be bad at a lot of things. It's the things that you are bad at that you take time to get good at so you can learn the skills, so you can learn the language, so you can learn the know-how to improve for yourself. You can only improve when you learn how to keep score for yourself. When I go to the gym early in the morning, first off, it's early in the morning. This morning, I'm giving you a prime example. I went to the gym this morning and it was freezing cold. I could have, when I went outside, I could have, as soon as I felt the air, I could have turned back around, went back in the house, and went back into the heat. I could have stayed in the heat because when I went outside, it was too cold. What I did was that I walked in the cold and I went to the gym. I didn't find an excuse not to go work out. I discovered a reason to push myself. Because as I'm pushing myself, I'm keeping score. As I'm pushing myself, I'm starting to win. As I'm pushing myself, I'm accomplishing the day. I just want to accomplish the moment for this second because I have a choice within myself to develop a skill, to improve and grow within myself. It's the growth that takes a lot of time because it doesn't happen over time. It doesn't happen. Oh, I'm sorry. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens the more you do something. So as I'm going to the gym, it's cold outside. I said, I just need to get in the building. I didn't say I need to get back in bed. I said I need to get back in the building. Because when I get in the building, it might be a little warmer. It might be a little warmer. See, the difference between hot steaming water is the steam that comes from the hotness of the water. The difference between hot and lukewarm water is that it doesn't have as much steam as the steaming hot water. Many times in your life, you have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone, to step out in the cold and just get warm. Because as you are warm, you're learning how to score. You're learning how to win. You're learning how to improve. You can only improve when you learn how to take that first step. It's the first step that's so challenging because how do you know the first step is going to lead to the second step? Newsflash, you don't know. Because I didn't know my first step was going to lead to my second step. My first podcast episode was going to lead to my second podcast episode. My first video is going to lead to my next video. I didn't understand that my first anything can always lead to my next something because it happens when I decide to keep score. Keeping score is the most challenging thing there is because now you have to pay attention to what you're doing. When you pay attention to what you're doing, it's the effort that matters. It's the growth that comes from that. It's the will that pushes you through the challenges because the challenges come for everyone. Hard times come from everybody. And it's the ones that can go through the moments to say, I'm going to face this challenge. And as I'm facing this challenge, I'm becoming someone different. I'm becoming someone different because I'm keeping score. I'm becoming someone different because I'm tracking my wins. I'm becoming someone different because I'm finding a way. When you find a way to do rather than not to do, you find a way to keep score of what you're doing. To keep score of how you're doing it. Paying attention is the most challenging thing there is. I remember I gave my first presentation. And when I gave my first presentation, it was so challenging for me to even speak in public because I wasn't used to speaking in front of people. I wasn't used to speaking in front of people that didn't even know who I was. But so I wanted to get in front of people and just try it. So I went to an open mic. When I went to this open mic, it was people that was rapping, it was people that was singing, it was people that was doing poetry. And I thought to myself, what do I have to bring to this stage? And how is it going to help me? So when before I even get the microphone, I'm constantly thinking about what I'm going to say. I'm overthinking the process. I'm overthinking the speech. I'm overthinking everything. And when they called my name, my mind just went blank. I forgot about everything that I was thinking about because I overthought so much. When they call me, they say, Terrell Humphrey, come to the stage. It's your turn to perform. The audience was loud. People wasn't paying attention to me. People wasn't even listening. But see, I got up in front of everybody and started speaking, and everyone was still talking over me. You see, one thing that I learned during this moment is that I have courage to get up and embarrass myself. because it was an embarrassing moment. Did nobody listen to what I said? Mine is one person. The one person was the host that was hosting the event. And many times in life, you just need one person to listen to you to know that you're keeping score of your growth. You're keeping score of your progression. You're keeping score of everything that you're doing. And until I start to recognize that in 2024, I not only recognize the score that I was keeping for myself, the score that I developed was me showing up every single day. Times get hard. I went through a divorce. I had to transition out the military. I had to transition back to my hometown. Life doesn't stop for nobody. Because I had to go through the challenges moment to figure out who I was. In fact, when you pick up your bag and you move from place to place, city to city, location to location, you're leaving something behind. The thing that you're leaving behind is the person that you used to be. I didn't know that the person that I used to be is no longer attached to me because I'm someone different every single day. You can become someone different every single day when you recognize the importance of keeping score and starting with your first step. When I got back into working out, it was so difficult for me to get in shape because I let myself get out of shape. When you let yourself get out of shape, it's so much challenging to get back in shape because you have to train your body again. You have to train your mind again. You have to train in a way where you can actually get up and push yourself. Because until you push yourself, you don't challenge yourself. Until you understand that there's timing and place for everything. The timing that comes from this is helping you get better because not only are you getting better, you're improving for yourself. You have to improve for yourself to know that you can get better. But first, you have to be willing to track the score. When you track your score, you are getting better. When you track your score, you are improving. When you track your score, you are recognizing the growth that you have developed for yourself. I can't be great if I never started. I can't be good if I never pushed myself. I can't be great if I never learned how to fail. There's a saying that says failure is knowledge because you have to be willing to fail at a lot of things before you gain the knowledge, the experience, the understanding of something that will push you forward. When you have the will to be pushed forward, not only are you being pushed forward, you are learning the importance behind it. Because it shows that you are growing within yourself. You can't grow if you're not challenging yourself. You can't grow if you're not pushing yourself. You have to be willing to push yourself to know that you can get back up. Because it's a question. I saw this one video. It was like two guys in Muay Thai, and one dude I think he did a jab and then he did a hook, and that hook that he threw, he broke the man's jaw. And in this video, the guy's jaw that he broke, it was crazy because he broke his jaw from a punch. And they showed the screenshot of him going to the doctor, of him getting an X-ray, and they showed like how his jaw was broken. And I was in disbelief because I didn't know that can happen. Off of one punch, I didn't know it can happen. Well, that's what the video showed. It was really two punches. And what I recognized while watching this video is that not only was his jaw broken, but it took two punches for him to land it. When you take score, you're able to track the amount of times it's going to take you to do something. When he broke the guy's jaw, not only did he broke it, but he won. You have to be willing to have confidence in everything that you're doing to know that you are going out with your best. If you're not going out with your best has yet to come because every single day you have to challenge yourself to become the best version of yourself. The old version of yourself is no longer here. I'm gonna give you a prime example. Is right now is December 3rd of 2024. December is about to end. 2024 is about to end. I'm gonna go back to last year when it was December of 2023. Eventually, the time will pass. And when you start taking the steps to your greatness, you start to track your score even more. You start to track your winnings even more because it's so critical for you to know that what happened in the past. It's so important for you to recognize what happened in the past. What happened is no longer here, but it's always with you. I only went through one divorce. I'm not going through a divorce right now, but it's always within me. When I got out the Marine Corps, I'm not in the Marine Corps no more, but it's always in me. When your past always stay in you, you just become someone different that can handle your past. When I start to recognize I was handling my past a little bit differently because I grew into someone different. You see, keeping score of what you're doing is recognizing that you are growing within yourself. As I was growing up, my dad wasn't in my life like that. I'm keeping track of that. I'm a young kid. I can only count the amount of times that I was around them. I can count that on my hands. I can count that because I was keeping score. I can count the amount of times that I didn't play on Friday nights. I can count the amount of times that I went to a game and it was freezing and I had to stay on the sideline. I was keeping score. And as I'm standing on the sideline, as I'm freezing my butt off, it's cold because I'm standing in one place. I say one day I'm going to be on that field. One day I'm going to achieve my dream. One day I'm going to keep score. And then that one day came. When that one day came, that one day was my opportunity to show my greatness. It was that one day that I had to perform because of the previous days, the previous moments, the previous situation that was taking place. I was waiting to keep score of when I start to win. You see, you win in life in small increments. On the contrary, you lose in life more than your wins because it's something that you don't fully understand. And what I didn't recognize is that if I would have stopped playing football my 11th and 12th grade year because I didn't play my 9th and 10th grade year, I wouldn't have been able to keep the score of the winnings that I was doing. I wouldn't be able to recognize that I was actually improving because I found a way to do it every single day. I found a way to show up every single day. Excuse me. And as I found a way to show up, I found a way to get better. I found a way to get better because it taught me that you can improve. You just have to be willing to show up every single day. I'm gonna read the comments right quick. I'm gonna come back to it. Let me know the comments. Let me know if you have any questions when it comes to keeping score and the importance behind it. My dog Kyrell say, man, you speaking, bro. I appreciate that, dog. I appreciate that. He say, man, you speak. You see, but if you would have known me when I was younger, you would have said, man, he got something. Man, he got something. You see, when we and my two brothers, we was in our singing group, it was called the 3 T's. In the Bible, they say Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. We was the 3 T's that had talent. We was the 3 T's that was able to sing. We was 3 T's that was performing for others. And so we went around to different churches. We was singing, we was performing, we was captivating the audience. As the audience was listening to what we were singing, they was impressed by the amount of times we have sung this song. Because even though we had one song that we kept singing, we had one song that we kept improving on. It's called improvement when you do the same thing over and over and over again. It's called growth when you focus on one thing over and over and over again. You see, me and my two brothers, we had a singing group because my mama, who was raising three boys by herself, put us in a singing group. You see, she wanted to keep the score to say, we gonna beat these odds. We gonna beat these statistics. We gonna beat what's stacked against you all already. We gonna beat this because y'all gonna do something different. My mama, who was a single mother raising three boys, she kept score. So as I'm older and learning more about myself, I learned the importance of keeping score. Let me tell you the importance behind it. You see, when you go and try something for the first time, when you try something for the first time, you're not going to be that good. You're not going to be that good. So don't even get upset and say, I didn't even do good. When I start to really look at things differently, as when I start to look at how me and my two brothers was singing and showing up, the first thing that I noticed that we showed up. When I start to keep score, I start to look at things differently. We showed up. When you are winning, not only are you winning, you are doing things that will make you uncomfortable. You are doing things that will make you uncomfortable because you have to find a way to keep doing it. It's finding a way to keep doing it that's so challenging because how do you know it's going to work? Well, I can tell you this. It's not going to work if you try something for the first time and then you quit the second time. Well, it's not going to improve if you try something the first time and don't even come back to it. When we was younger, we used to play the piano a lot. Well, I'm sorry, we used to play the instruments. I wanted to play the piano, my twin brother wanted to play the drums, and my older brother wanted to play the guitar. Not only was we a singer group, we was going to be a band. We was going to be a band together. Unfortunately, all of us wasn't paying attention to the instrument. And so when I started learning the piano, I wasn't consistent with it. We'll go to piano classes for a day throughout the week, and then we'll go next month, and then we'll go 2 months after that, and then won't even go back. What I recognize from keeping score is that you have to be willing to show up consistently. You have to be willing to show up every single day. You have to be willing to show up every week. You have to be willing to show up every month. You have to be willing to show up every year. Because there's progression that comes as you are showing up. There's a graph that shows that there's a graph that has numbers on it. Something like that. Hold on, I want to pull it up. Do I have a whiteboard on this? I don't think I got a whiteboard on this, but if I did, I would have showed you. But picture this: it's a graph, right? You have a x axis, and you have a y axis, kind of like that. Then you have the graph that's going like this. You have a line graph that's going like this, which means that you're seeing progression over time. And the reason why progression is so important, because for you to keep score, you have to start at zero. You have to start at zero before you even score the first basket, before you even score the first point, before you even score the first anything. It's understanding that as you are putting yourself out there, not only are you putting yourself out there, you're determining the steps that you would like to take for yourself. This is so important. Because in order for you to keep score, you have to start looking at yourself differently and say, I can do it. I can do it. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. say, I had a dream that one day we would come together and stop the hatred. Not those exact words, I want to paraphrase it. But he had a dream. And when he had a dream, he starts sharing his dream to others. And when he starts sharing his dream to others, now others are keeping score of what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is doing, because now they're paying attention to it. Because not only did Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had the dream, he inspired others to dream with them. Many times in life, in order for you to keep score of you doing anything, you have to be willing to do it by yourself at first before people can start to see what you're doing. And when I was younger, we used to learn about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and it wasn't that I understood that he was a dominant figure, like he was really influential. But we were just in class watching him. I didn't see the importance behind it until I got older. Until I really started learning what he was doing by myself. I was in this communication class, and as I'm in this communication class, he said, "Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna find different speeches, and we're gonna get up and recite the speeches, or or present the speech that the person that you chose had completed." So my person was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I was gonna choose "I Have a Dream" speech. But I remember while growing up, everyone picked that speech everyone was familiar with. So I wanted to challenge myself to find something that I wasn't familiar with. So I went on YouTube and I typed in Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And when I typed in Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., it pulled up different videos. The one that caught my eye was "What's Your Life's Blueprint?" And I read the title. I said, that's a pretty good title. I wonder what it's about. So I click it, and when I click it, the video start playing, and he starts sharing the message. And the message he focused on, you have to become your own somebodyness. In order to be somebody, you have to be willing to start with nobody. And when you recognize that you can be somebody, that nobody turns into somebody. Because when you are your own somebodyness, now you believe that you can do it. Now you understand why you're able to do it, but it's becoming the somebodyness because you have to turn the nobody into somebody. Somebody leave a comment and say you talking that talk. But see, what really hit me is that he was inspiring others to believe in themselves. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was showing that when you believe in yourself, there's a process that you have to go through. And as you are going through this process, you have to be willing to keep score of what you're doing. It doesn't happen overnight because you have to be the one that bring it out to reality. So not only was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. an inspiration, he was inspiring others to believe in themselves and to have a dream for themselves. He had a dream. Why can't we have a dream? Why can't I have a dream? Because it's seeing that helps us believe in the growth that we can grow into. Because if we might not fully understand, we might not fully comprehend, we might not fully recognize it, at some point in life, it will start to make sense. At some point in life, it will show you that as it's making sense, you're able to learn more about the path that you are on for yourself. Because you have to start keeping score of everything that you are doing. You have to start paying attention to your improvement. You have to start paying attention to last year. You have to start paying attention to yesterday and last week and last month and last year. Because the person that you were during that time, during your past, you're no longer the same person. My biggest thing was that I was trying to hold on to my past. I was trying to hold on to who I used to be because I wasn't comfortable walking into who I'm going to be. Because it was a process behind it. I didn't know that you have to continue to go through the process. Excuse me, because I was afraid of the process. Excuse me. I was afraid. In the Bible it says, faith without works is dead. And so if you don't have faith while you're doing the work, it's dead because you're doing things that you don't have faith in. And it taught me that you have to be willing to do things afraid. I remember I performed for America's Got Talent. What is called America's Great? No. What is it called? America's Got Talent. America's Got Talent. And as I'm in the waiting room, we watching other people perform, and one particular performance was amazing. First off, they had their phone. They put their phone down. And they had a big ring, like a big circus ring. And then they had a long pole with the ring, and the person who was on the video, they're literally showing their talent. And it was something that I've never saw before. It was something that was so amazing. Like, how do you even do this on the phone? The connection was the connection to Wi-Fi was horrible. And it was so horrible, it was jumping, like it was skipping. On the contrary, it was so amazing because it was their talent. The reason why I remember that, because it was something different. It was something different. And it taught me that you have to be different in order to display your talent. Because if you have a talent and no one sees who you are and how great you can become, they're just gonna not pay attention to you because you don't see it within yourself. And so it wasn't until I went on this competition on the American Got Talent. I think that's the show. I think that was the show. In fact, I'm actually gonna apply for it again. Um, when I saw that, they had a pre-competition. Like, if you're gonna perform here, and when you perform here, you either get to the next step or you don't get to the next step. Unfortunately, I didn't get to the next step. And over time, over my life, I've done different competitions, different things that I can compete in. And I lost every last one of them. I can't even remember the one that I even won because I didn't win anything. I didn't win nothing. What I did learn is that I was able to show up I was able to show up and perform without the odds being against me. Because the odds, the statistics, the other people are no longer stopping me. I was pushing myself forward. I became my own somebodyness because I was willing to compete for things that I had no idea even consisted of. But as I'm showing up, I'm learning. There's a saying in Master Your Mind, 10 Tips to Shift Your Mindset. There's a part that says, learn as you go, grow. GROW, as you go. You have to be willing to learn on the go, because eventually you will start to grow while you are going along your journey. And when I wrote this book, I read it again, I'm reading it again, I'm looking at it, I said, when did I produce this book? When did I write this book? And I spoke with my publisher, I said, this book was so powerful. When I go back and read it, I surprised myself. And she say, you know where it came from? I said, where did it come from? She say, it came from your heart. I said, that was deep because I wasn't even expecting that. I remember writing the book. I remember typing the book. I remember the process of it. In fact, I remember writing the book and said I wasn't going to finish this book because I didn't see the value in it. I didn't see the importance behind it. And when I started working with her, she encouraged me that you have to finish this book. 1, because you hired me. 2, because I'm holding you accountable. 3, because your story matters. At the time, I didn't recognize that my story matters. What I thought was that I just had some words come together. As it's coming together, it's making sense. The main thing that I've learned while understanding the process is that you don't have to understand everything that you are doing. You just have to keep doing it. You just have to keep showing up. You just have to keep learning. Because the more you learn, the more you will understand. The more you understand, the more you can become your own somebodyness. It's understanding that the somebodyness takes time to develop. When I wrote this book, it took time to develop the book, to produce the book, to promote the book. And when I recognized the importance behind it, it was a challenge because I wanted to quit and throw in the towel. Until one day she said, "What's your middle name?" I told her my middle name. She said, "Terrell Humphrey, get that book done." And then I got in my feelings one day. I'm like, my mama don't even talk to me like that no more. I said, listen, I said, I appreciate what you're doing, but there's a certain way that you have to go about doing it. You see, I wasn't used to being held accountable to finish something that I asked for help for. What this taught me is that I was keeping score on my wins because my wins started to stack upon each other. My accomplishments started to stack. And it showed me that as you continue along your journey, whatever you do has to come from your heart because you are constantly improving. As you improve, you learn how to be your own somebodyness. You see, if it was easy, you wouldn't have to go through no challenges. If it was easy, you would already be where you would like to, where you would like to, if it was easy, you would already be where you would like to go. But since you have to go through the force, since you have to go through the challenge, since you have to move and maneuver around the process, you now understand like there's a goal that you have to accomplish if you want to discover your own somebodyness. When we was younger, me and my twin brother we played football together. Well, me and my twin brother, of course, were the same age, and my oldest brother he was 2 years ahead of us. The only time we was able to play with each other was when we played 1 and 2 games together. And the games that me and my twin brother played, it was like the game ping pong. So you have two sticks right here, and there's a ball coming down. One side hit, then when it come on the other side hit. So now you just ping pong the ball like you're hitting the ball off the wall, but you have to keep going. So me and my twin brother played football together, he was a star player, I was a star player. When I start to build my momentum up, it was his turn to build his momentum up. And one game it was so frustrating to me because I'm like, bro, give me the ball. But I just had the football. But it was the fact that I was building momentum up. And when I recognized I was building this momentum, I didn't want to stop. I knew my brother wanted to get some of the momentum, start playing and really displaying his talent. So that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what I did. That's exactly what we did. What took me so long to recognize is that when you have a talent, the people that you are around, the people that you are coming encounter with, the people that you are working with, they have a talent as well. And in order for you to recognize the talent that someone has, you have to be willing to develop within yourself. I took the risk to develop within myself so I can become better, so I can become more skilled, so I can become more established. To be your own somebodyness, you have to be willing to go through your own challenges. Everyone challenges look different. Everyone challenges appear different. But just because it appears different doesn't mean that you are any different. You are your own somebodyness, and when you start to embrace who you are, when you start to embrace who you're becoming, when you start to embrace your future, your past is working with you because it's helping you get to the next step. It's helping you get to the next step because you are learning more about the process that you have to go through to learn that you are discovering more about yourself. You see, when you discover yourself, excuse me, hold on, I gotta drink some water. When you discover your path, you have to be willing to know that this path that you are on, this path that you have discovered, is something that's going to make you better. If I would have thrown in the towel a long time ago, I would have thrown in the towel and not be as good as I am today. I'm not comfortable where I am today because I always want to get better. I always want to challenge myself. I always want to improve. When I start to recognize that I'm the only one that can control myself, my future, my actions, excuse me, I have to be willing to do it every single day. Because the more I do it every single day, I start to recognize the importance of doing the work every single day. You see, the name of the title slipped my mind. I forgot the name of the title of this video. It just slipped my mind. Man, I hate that it slipped my mind. It's a process that you have to go through many times in life. There's so many different things that are going on inside of your mind, inside of everything that you're doing. But to get to the next step, you have to be willing to grow. You have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to ask questions. I'm in this business law class, and I'm in this business law, and we got on a particular topic, and we started talking about it for like 20, 30 minutes. And so we're speaking about it, everyone's asking questions, everyone is engaged. And so I was like, I got a last question. He said, no. He said, ask as many questions as you need so you can have a better understanding of what we're talking about. I said, okay, cool. I might have many questions then. It's not the fact that the question that you're asking is not good. It's that you're not asking a lot more questions so you can get a better understanding. So now I'm learning how to ask more questions and be okay with the questions that I'm asking, because it shows that I'm serious about my growth. I'm serious about my development. I'm serious about improvement. I'm serious about improvement. You can only get better when you learn how to start with where you are at. After producing 893 podcast episodes, I wasn't always good at this. I wasn't always great at this. In fact, I didn't even understand business because I thought it was a passion for so long. Nothing's wrong with following your passion, but what my problem was that I was following my passion without having a business plan or business model behind what I was doing. Because I didn't know how to make money from how I was doing it. And one thing that I've learned is that you have to be willing to reinvent yourself, because the person that you was yesterday, the person that you were last year, you're no longer this person. You're someone that has developed. You're someone that has learned. You're someone that's seeking new information. You can only seek new information when you put yourself out there to look for it. I remember I was young. And we did what is called the Easter egg hunt. And prior to us even going to the church and they putting the eggs in different places, with my grandma, with my two brothers and my grandma, when my grandma was alive, we went over our house and we dyed the eggs. The eggs used to be all white. We used to dye the different colors. Like, it was phenomenal. I had so much fun during the time. I had so much fun. So we dyed the eggs as different colors. It actually looks good. But first you have to boil the eggs first, so they can be devil eggs and so they can be hard. And so after they get boiled and cooked, where the yolk is no longer liquid, it's now a solid, you get to paint the outside. So we painted probably 18 to 36 different eggs. Let's say 36 to 36 sounds a lot better. We painted 36 different eggs, and we took the eggs that we had, we put them back in the carton, we took the eggs that we had, and we took it to the church. Once we took it to the church, we gave it to the people that was over the program. And when we gave it to them, they had a lot more eggs. They had a lot more eggs. And so during this time, I'm picturing the eggs that we just created. Like, I want to look for the eggs that we just created, because we put time into this. We put some effort into this. So I want to look for them eggs. And so they get the eggs. We have the service. We have the church service. And then when we come outside, the eggs are scattered all over the place. They say, all right, kids, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to have an Easter egg hunt. So all the kids got excited. We was like, an Easter egg hunt? That sounds fun. And so all the eggs was planted around different places. But the main egg that I'm looking for was the eggs that we just created, that we just made. I'm looking for these because they got a specific design. And then so they say, kids, you're ready. So they say, whoever finds the most eggs wins. And so when they say go, we go looking for the eggs. I pick up one egg. Now I'm learning how to keep score. I got one egg, and as I got one egg, I put it in my basket. As I picked up the next egg, the next egg wasn't the egg I was looking for. In fact, it was a plastic egg. So I got this egg, put it in my basket. And then I'm on egg number 2. Then egg number 3 was so much further. I had to go a step out. And so when I get egg number 3, I pick it up and put it in my bag. And then as I'm looking for egg number 4, I'm looking for my specific egg. I'm looking for the eggs that me and my 2 brothers and my granny just made. I'm looking for this egg. So as I'm looking for the 4th one, I'm running past the other ones that I see. I'm running past the other ones because I'm looking for one particular egg. But I'm not able to find this one particular egg. I said, where is the eggs? When you keep score many times in life, the things that you are looking for, it's not right in front of you. The things that you are searching for, you won't be able to find. But when you keep going, maybe you'll find something different. So as I'm looking for different eggs, I say, forget this. I'm just going to pick up the eggs that's close by. And so I end up having 6 eggs towards the end. So the score that I had was 6 eggs. But all 6 eggs was different because it wasn't the egg that we made together. And what I learned about this is that when you go searching for something, when you are learning how to keep score, when you are putting yourself out there, the things that you are looking for will appear completely different. One egg might be a plastic, one egg might be a different color, one egg might not be even yours. But when you keep score, you learn how to get better over time. Keeping score is the most important thing that you can ever do because things matter. What you do matter, and how you do it matters the most. Because if I were to quit after that first egg that I found, I would have been able to find 5 additional eggs. Life shows you that when you find a goal, when you find a reason, and when you find a purpose of doing something, your goals, reasoning, and purpose will increase because you find it in different places. You find it in places that you're not even looking for. You find it in places that you don't even think will even be there. What happens is that as you are keeping score, you are finding yourself. And as you are finding yourself, you are discovering the path that you are on. When you recognize the path that you are on, you are learning that the score can keep going up. Yet the score does not go down unless you stop, unless you quit, unless you throw in the towel. Eventually, the towel is going to be waiting for you to be held. So as you are finding yourself, you're keeping score. As you are discovering yourself, you're keeping score. As you are improving, you keep score on the amount of things that you have improved on. Because it shows your growth, it shows your determination, and it shows your will to push through. Just like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, you have to be your own somebodyness. And to be your own somebodyness, you have to be willing to be consistent. When you keep score, you're keeping score, to track your improvement. You can only get better when you learn that it's okay to not be good. You can only improve when you discover how you are bettering yourself. You can only become great when you learn that you have to fail to gain the knowledge, because failure is knowledge. And when you have failure, you have knowledge, you have growth, because now you're able to keep the score. And if you got value from this, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. And let me know in the comments below what is your biggest takeaway from keeping score on your improvement, your growth, and your development on becoming your own somebodyness. Let me know in the comments. I would love to read it. And if you got value from this, make sure you click additional videos right here to watch and continue your journey to help to continue you to help continue develop within yourself. Click this video right here. Then I'll see you next time.